it is it's a very much a last ditch effort. And I think actually Harvey did a pretty good job of explaining it. The concept is,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah. You're a target in a hostile takeover bid. And instead of, in an attempt to make you as the target less appealing to the other side, the bidder, you sell off your primary asset or your most valuable assets, and you then become a less appealing, and or the price that they're throwing out there is the premium that they're throwing out there for your stock is less interesting, and then they back away, they back off. I think the real structure for how they would do this is oftentimes, if they were going to do it, a lot of times it's just purely a threat. I think the second thing is you would probably, as a target, enter into some kind of agreement with a third party. So another company, not that likely, another private equity firm or hedge fund who would say, yeah, we'll buy it from you and we will sell it back to you at a premium if the bidder backs away from the transaction. So kind of you can go full circle and still have the asset having paid some kind of ransom for it effectively, when the dust settles.
It's a great additional perspective there where watching this, I couldn't stop thinking about, if you're essentially severing the head, why even do it? It's almost as bad as the takeover itself, but there's this maneuvering that you could do to buy back those assets. There's also, whenever Harvey was talking about it, he talked about, severing an arm to save the body, which was an interesting analogy that kind of resonated, where it's like, well, you still have the company intact. And if you really are passionate about the company, it's not, you aren't killing the company. You're getting rid of this incredibly valuable part of the company, but it's simply a part of the company.
Yeah, agreed. But I think, the bidder would think the same way, right? It's like, it's just the arm.
It's just the arm. And so it has to be meaningful enough that they're no longer interested.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's a last ditch kind of defense here. You're not going to do it unless you're really against the wall and you don't have any alternatives.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And as the board, you think it is the most reasonable action to keep the company independent.
Yeah.
So much so that you're willing to sell or take the risk of selling your primary assets in the hopes that you get them back later to not be taken over.
And I think that's everything we wanted to cover on this episode. Is that fair to say?
I think that's it.
This has been episode 7 of Suits on Suits with Quinn and Jared Mayberry. Thanks for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and join us next week for episode 8 of Suits on Suits.
Yeah, and if you have any thoughts, let us know in the comments.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.